God morning. Let's begin. Deep breath. See a vast ball of light at your heart. The heart, the portal to dimensions beyond. This vast ball of light at the heart, expanded far beyond the body, is a field, a love field. Everyone has a field around them. This meditation is to turn your field into a love field, to raise the vibration, to remember ye are gods. This vast ball of light emanating from the heart center grows to encompass your entire body and beyond with a command to expand. This vast ball of light, pure energy, love, is the true natural essence of the universe and of all. This ball of light, glistening, bright, is a ball of love. And now see it grow bigger to encompass your entire dwelling place by your command to expand. Intentionally expanding the love emanation and vibration of the heart. Basking in this love, sensing, feeling the pulsation of this love, the undulation, the movement of energy, free flowing of this love. Sadhguru reminds us that if you master your body, you have only mastered a small percentage of your life. If you master your mind, you do master more of your life. Yet, if you master your life energies, you master your whole life. This is mastering life energies. And now, this love expands to encompass the entire country where you are with your command to expand. See, feel, know, experience the expansion of love intentionally from your heart to the whole country where you reside. And knowing countries and borders are man-made and are like sands ever shifting, we intentionally, consciously expand this ball of love that we did not make. We simply get to tap into it as we are of it. And we intentionally expand the love emanating from the heart to encompass our entire planet, known as Earth, Gaia, with the command to expand. See every being on Earth bathing in the golden light of love. The entire Earth, a love-filled paradise. With billions of different people doing different things, all of them under the auspices of love. This love power is sustaining us all, filling us all, healing us, feeding us, breathing us, is the love of the universe. We choose to align with this love. We choose to remember self as being of this love. We choose to remember we are masters of the universe. Breathe and choose to continuously allow the love energy of the heart to emanate infinitely to all on this planet and beyond, giving and offering all honor, praise, devotion, adoration to our God, Source, the one in whom we live and breathe and have our very being, knowing we are of the one light. All is well. Calm the nervous system. Calm. Signal the body to release anandamide, the bliss hormone. Signal the body to release serotonin, happy hormone. Signal the body to release dopamine in appropriate levels. Signal the body to only release adrenaline or cortisol as it is required, choosing no longer to live the stressful life, living a peaceful life, a fulfilling life, a life full of happiness and joy, love and fulfillment. No rushing today, no trying, no pushing, no making things happen. Simply being the master of your life energies and creating according to intention and desire, and the knowing that it is already done. We're great participants in an unfoldment that is all life, and we participate at the very highest levels. Co-creators of Source, with Source, remembering God itself is incomplete without you. We choose to open our eyes and engage A Course in Miracles, Lesson 104. in the book, A Course in Miracles, or online at acim.org. We look down and slowly raise our gaze to engage A Course in Miracles, lesson 104. Breathing. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Joy and peace are not simply idle dreams. Joy and peace are not these mysterious, illusory moments that happen every so often, interspersed with a whole lot of pain and suffering. Your right is to joy and peace because of who you are and where you came from. And because we know we operate under the will of this entire universe, which is one and the same as our own will, yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts, to receive the gifts of the universe, we must prepare a space within ourselves to receive it. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made, where his belong, as substitutes for them. If you refuse to believe that you can be continuously happy, joyful, peaceful, then it means that somewhere in the mind we have decided that there is something else that should take the place of the gifts of God. If we say, no pain, no gain, if we say, you get what you deserve, if we say, it's always something, if we say, 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward, if we say, the man done got me again, we are making up substitutes to the joy and peace of God and worshiping them instead on the gifts of the inner altar where only the gifts of the universe are to live. Do we want to keep doing that? Today, we would remove all, it says all meaningless and self-made gifts. They're meaningless and they're self-made. All this suffering, all this sacrificing, all this pain to have what you want, which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. We've placed these on the holy altar within. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. In truth, the gifts of joy and peace and happiness, they belong to you. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. These are the gifts of eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. You don't have to wait to be happy. Oh, when I get enough money, when my business is successful, when I have a baby, when I have a lover, when I get married, when I have the house of my dreams, when I travel the world, then I'll be. Then I can be happy. When I get everything just the way I want it, line all my ducks up in a row, then I can be happy. No, You need not wait. Be happy now. You can even hear your mind saying, it's not that simple. You can hear your mind fighting it. You can hear, if you listen very closely to the shadow echoes in the mind, you can hear it like, well, yeah, well, I'd like to see that happen. You can hear dissenting voices within yourself if you listen carefully. That's why the Course says that we would remove. How do you remove it? You forgive it. The Course tells us continuously there's two things you must do: relinquish and recognize. Relinquish and recognize. You have to give up something. You have to move what you put on the altar. You have to move the pain out of yourself because you want to, so that you can have happiness. You have to move. How many people have a pain in their knee? I had pains in my knees, and I was wondering, why do I have pain in my knee? Well, the Holy Spirit told me, well, because that's what you believe is supposed to happen when you get to a certain age. Wow. Why does my back hurt? Well, because you believe you're not supported. Wow. Lower back pain. As I started to understand these things, the pain started to go away because I had pain on the holy altar of God. Why have pain? You don't have to. Oh, but you see people suffering in immense pain. And we're told to empathize and sympathize with them. Why, when what they believe is a lie? The gifts of God, we choose to have them now. Therefore, we choose to have them now. And no, in choosing them in place of what we made, we but unite our will with what God wills and recognize the same as being one. There's not two wills going on in the universe. There's only the will of the universe. You're in the universe, and therefore, your will is the will of the universe. It's that simple. There's only one thing happening in the universe, and that's love. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes, we're in a period now with the Course where the first 5 minutes of every hour we give to remembering the idea for the day. And if at any time you forget, or if at any time you don't remember, or whatever happens, bring yourself back to it every time you remember. Every time I remember, I just bring myself back to the Course again. The hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation should begin with this: I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Tell yourself that you are not seeking for something outside yourself. You're not seeking for something that you shouldn't have. You're not seeking for something that's illusory. You're not seeking something that is, well, maybe if you keep searching and searching and searching, maybe you might happen upon it like a treasure hidden somewhere by pirates. No, 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 no. You're seeking what belongs to you in truth, and this is the will of God. And therefore, because it is the will of the universe, you cannot fail. Then lay aside. It says it again. Earlier, it says that you have to remove. You have to clean up your consciousness, relinquish, forgive. Now it says lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions. When I get enough money, I'm going to be happy. When I have enough investments in crypto, I'm going to be happy. Witnessed to by them and sought for only in a world of dreams. That is the world of dreams where you believe that if you have a certain amount in your portfolio, you're going to be happy, or you're going to be financially set. You're going to be good. I'm going to be good. I saw it every day in my financial planning practice when I was a financial advisor. Every day, people had a number. 1.5 million. I've done the math now. If I had 1.5 million, me and my family could live happily for the rest of our 30 years in retirement. Oh, okay. And then we run the numbers and we crunch the numbers 50 way to Sunday, because I like crunching numbers. What were we doing? Trying to play in a world of illusions. Because in a world of illusions, you can make up anything, and then life happens, and then you have nothing. What happens if you decide that you want to become a monk and you give away the whole 1.5 million? But you made up in your mind that you couldn't live without this 1.5 million. Yet here you are as a monk living somewhere in nature and super happy and super content and super fulfilled. And you don't have any money at all. You swore off money. It's very fascinating how these things happen. Obviously, it's not the truth. All the things that we have placed on the inner altar that are supposed to make us happy will fail. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours. As we ask to recognize what God has given us, we want to recognize what we have. We clear a holy space within our minds before his altar. We must clear this space, clear this space. That's your job, where his gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by him. We come to find ourselves as we clear the altar within. We're clearing it. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what he gives. It means that today you are stepping up to the universe of life and you are giving it your claim check. And you are saying, I am now able, ready to I have cleared and I receive the gifts of happiness and peace and joy. And we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. So do we clear the way for him today by simply recognizing that his will is done already. Your peace is already done. And that joy and peace belong to us as his eternal gifts. Don't give them up. Don't give them up. Don't let someone come along, say something, and you jump out of the joy. Don't let someone get an email, and you jump out of the peace. Don't get some kind of notice, and you jump out of the abundance. This is your birthright. Stay in them. No matter what happens, we will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where he has laid them. In between the other 55 minutes of the hour, we will not allow ourselves to lose sight of the gifts of this universe. This reminder will we bring to mind as often as we can. Here is the reminder that we will bring to our mind all throughout the day. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. That is, of course, Miracles Lesson 105. And now we begin with our first practice period of the day, 5 minutes. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Breathe and seek the peace of God, the joy of spirit, the happiness of love. Tell yourself that you are ready to let go of all beliefs in pain and suffering and guilt and shame and dis-ease and death and lack and limitation and abandonment and anger and fear and doubt, that you relinquish them all. You must be the one to relinquish them. You must be the one to give up all control and mistrust of the universe. You get to be the one to clear the altar within your holy mind for only the gifts of God to shine. They are there. They have been there since before the beginning of time and will forever be. You seek but what belongs to you in truth. And you are ready to give up all that is not truth. All the illusions we've made end now. All the sadness, despondency, depression, feeling down, not feeling like it, unmotivated, unproductive, confusion, overwhelm. We leave it all. We leave it all. Accept your inheritance, peace, power, love, infinite wisdom, infinite love, happiness, joy, bliss, ecstasy. Accept your divine inheritance. Our chimes have signaled, indicating we have completed our first practice period of the day for lesson 104 in A Course in Miracles. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God morning, family. God morning, God morning, God morning, God morning. The floor is open. What have you placed, I'm curious, on the altar instead of God's peace? Worry, overwhelm, fear? What have you placed on the altar other than God's peace? Floor is open.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I might have a little noise this morning, so if I do, I'll just mute. I had everything on that altar. Everything that didn't belong there was on that altar. Everything. And everything, like jobs and worry about taking care of things that was not really my job to take care of. Worried about all kinds of things, family things, friend things, worry. I came from a family that loves drama. And if things were not, if there was no drama, they would drum up drama just so they'll have something to talk about or something to worry about or something to go, oh Lord, about. Oh gosh. No, so I always felt like drama was, yeah, it's part of my life. That's what I do. And now this lesson here really brings everything to a quiet, because the things that I seek are what belongs to me in truth. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that before. And the things that are really valuable to my spirit, those things, peace, joy, love, those things, those everlasting things, are what's really important, as opposed to having drama or something to say, I'm going to fight. I'm going to, you know, march. I'm going to petition. I'm going to, you know, rabble rouse. I'm going to throw bricks. You know, I'm going to cause trouble. I'm going to start something. Those things mean nothing compared to what's really true and what's really for me, which is peace, love, and all the fruit of the spirit, everything that's good and high vibrational. Those are the things that are my inheritance, and they belong to me. I didn't really understand that until the course. I'm grateful for this lesson. I'm grateful that we're here on day 104, and I'm complete for now. Thank you.
You know, I had adrenaline on the altar because it gave me something to do. Solve another emergency, right?
Oh, yeah.
After a while, we start to see that those things will not satisfy. We'll be running this way and that. It will not satisfy. And we'll look up one day and say, what's it all for? And you'll have this existential crisis, right? Where you have to, as they call it, come to Jesus or a similar kind of experience.
For me, it was, I fell at Taisi's feet. For me, I ended up in your atmosphere. And things really changed because I really did not understand the other side of the polarity. I knew the drama side. I didn't know. And life got so painful and so hurtful and painful because I thought I did everything right. I thought I listened, and I didn't go to college and get pregnant. You know, I didn't get pregnant as a teenager. I was a good girl. I did what they told me to do, and I still was not happy. And yeah, I guess around that time that's when I met you, and then I started learning these things, and that took me out of the pain, the worry, the fear, the stress, the anxiety, and oh my God, what's going to happen, you know? And so that was really, really helpful. That was my come to Jesus, come to my right mind, was to get in this course and learn. And so I'm really, really appreciative of that. I'm complete now, Rev. Go ahead.
Just reflecting on my former self that loved the something to do, loved something to do in an emergency situation. The adrenaline made me feel alive, rescuing people. Oh, I was the one to call. You had a flat tire. You needed something with your kids. Somebody got stuck somewhere. Somebody stuck at work. It gave me something to do, dash off and solve this emergency. No more. Now I have zero emergencies. I realized that emergencies, we concoct them so that we can get sympathy from other people for not doing what we're really here to do. Because your friends and family, they will really side with you if you have an emergency. I mean, oh my God, this is so terrible. It's an emergency. They'll give you a pass. You keep doing that. You don't have to live your destiny, or so we're taught, or so we think. We believe that we have a pass or an out from doing the big terrifying things of the soul, like be master of yourself in your mind. Who else? What have you had on the altar where peace and joy and happiness abide? What did you put on the altar? Imagine we yanked the peace off the altar and we put adrenaline rush, drama on the altar instead and worshiped it. And then we're mad when other people weren't suffering with us. How insane is that? And then we told people it was part of life, you had to have it. How insane is that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is a great lesson. I definitely, the first thing that came up to me was suffering. That's what I had on the altar. That's what I thought was a human inheritance when we came here. As they say, we were born into sin, so like we're bound to suffer for doing sinful things, and we're supposed to have karma catch up with us and all of these things. Like I'm still unfolding what was spoke about on lesson 101. I think that's like probably one of my favorites now, because that really helped start to deprogram the suffering illusion that I thought was just a part of being coming into this world. Like it was just a part of us. Like, hey, we're supposed to suffer. This is a world of pain, and then figure it out, and then find the glory of God. Versus, like, that's our inheritance, is like God's love, God's peace. Like that's what we came here with, and that suffering is a choice. And I like consciously, I'm like, yeah, suffering is a choice. Yeah. Like we don't have to suffer. And yet, what I've really set with it, that is something that I believed was like just an internal truth that, hey, no, it's just part of us. And so that was definitely something that I had on my altar, and I have been feeling a lot more freer, just knowing that that's an illusion. Like that is the mistake, to even think that suffering is part of us. Like that is the core. That is one of like the core fundamentals of being a human, is to suffer. And so I would say that for me, that was it. That was it, Kaisi.
That somehow it was part of our essential nature to suffer rather than our essential nature being peace and bliss and joy.
Yes.
It's profound. I think that's what most of us believe. So when you see somebody like the Dalai Lama who's so joyful and so peaceful, and you see Sadhguru who's laughing most of the time, Sadhguru, when you talk to Sadhguru, he's not going to go 5 minutes without saying something funny. Even his book is hilarious. His book is quite funny. And do you ever watch Muji? Do you ever see Muji just bust out laughing and everybody's laughing and they're just laughing and no one knows what anyone's laughing at? It's a spontaneous eruption of joy. Do y'all ever watch that?
Yep, I watch him all the time. It's funny. And then I just start, it takes me out of anything. I just start laughing too. I just like the way his shoulders move. It just laughs with his whole body.
They're cracking up and he just starts laughing. And next thing you know, everybody's laughing and it's so funny. That's laughter yoga. Like that is the true essence of the sort of self, you know? Oh, wow. Robert says, Robert, this is interesting. Unworthiness disguised as timidness placed on the altar. Woo, that's a powerful one because Many of us who are called to the stage, as Robert is, as many of us are called to the stage, are called to be speakers or singers or presenters or stand before people and say something or do something or bring messages. We get that false humility thing. They call it imposter syndrome. Uh-huh. So we put that on the altar instead. Okay. Who's next?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I put on the altar pain and disease. I mean,
Mm.
I think I thought that, oh, I got lower back pain. Well, yeah, I've had health issues. So, yeah, it happens. It happens to everybody. Oh, it happens because it happens. So I put pain and disease on that altar and I'm taking it off. Because that's not the truth. That's an illusion. And what really got me is remembering that salvation is the freedom that we seek, that it's love. Salvation gets you out of the darkness. You know, one of my loving lessons was miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. So being strong and coming out of that darkness and realizing sin and doubt and fear and loss and poverty and all these things we're seeing is the darkness, is the sin, and we need to move out of it. All the pain, all the disease, all the suffering, it's not part of the light. So it's time to move out of that darkness and go with God, go and in source and find that freedom and letting love and joy and happiness be the salvation. So that's what I'm learning from these lessons, and I'm loving these since lesson 90 all the way up. It's been hitting me stronger and stronger, and it's been releasing all these doubts and fears. It's wonderful. I'm complete.
Delicious. And do you notice, Latoya, that people that have not chosen to free themselves of peace, of pain and suffering, they will not like that you're happy. They want to fight for sadness. They want to fight for, as Zaire said, for suffering being part of the human experience. They want to fight for that. Well, that's just how it is, as you were mentioning. Well, yeah, well, that's just how it is. No, it's not.
Oh, misery loves company.
And we have a million ways to say that we have to suffer and that you should expect it. And here's how you cope with suffering. How about don't suffer?
Exactly. I mean, we don't have to suffer. We're choosing to. And that's the illusion. We think it's real. We think it's deserving. We think it's part of life. And it's the consequences of existing. And all that is wrong. All that is a lie. And the truth is happiness and peace and love and bliss and joy. And that's our birthright. That's what we are supposed to be in. I'm complete.
And we all get to remember, we lived this way when we were first born. This is not something you've never done before. You lived many years like this. You were in your mother's womb like this, super happy all the time. You were in a 9-month meditation. You came out, you were smiling at everyone, and everyone was smiling at you. Your fat, chubby cheeks, and all you did was laugh and poop and eat, and life was perfect. Until you started meeting with some traumas on planet Earth, right? You already lived like this. If you were a kid that lived in some level of, all of us had some kind of traumas as children, or some kind of experiences that were unloving experiences, right? Well, most of the time, if you were not in some kind of traumatic experience, you were probably having fun pretending you were Superman or jumping off of something or flying or reading books or talking to your dolls or somewhere in your imagination having the time of your life. You already lived this way. You already did it. We're returning to it before we did so much adulting. Do we remember when we used to do this every day?
Yes, and that's why, and that's what the little white wizard is teaching me when I'm with her, and how her imagination is so, I'm like, wow, I'm like, okay, the floor is lava. The floor is lava, you can't touch it. Like, okay. And just to just witness like what I forgot what it's like. I mean, I'm very childlike. Like, I definitely still have like my childlike tendencies and my innocence. Like, I'm aware of that. Yet I still see how the like the suffering, for example, has started to take over, and just to witness her just being in that true child element is definitely has been a huge reminder and such a blessing for me to remember like what it's really all about, like that mindset. So yes.
Does anyone ever watch the Laughing Babies? Do you ever watch Laughing Baby videos on YouTube? Anyone?
I haven't.
Anyone on stage? Have you ever heard of or seen any of the Laughing Baby videos?
I'm trying to unmute. Yes, I saw them. They're funny, the little babies laughing, just laughing for no reason. I honestly, in the beginning, when I looked up these videos, because it was like all the rage, I was like, what are you laughing for? What's so funny? And I'm like, whatever. And I turned it off because I wasn't ready to laugh. I wasn't ready to be happy. Those kids are just too happy. Just too damn happy. Goodbye, kids. I was willing to be miserable. Such a Grinch, Dr. B. I know. This was back in the day. That was what was on my altar. I mean, because in YouTube, like, it was just laughing babies, cats playing piano, this kind of stuff. I'm like, booey on that. Boo.
You know what?
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I'm like, they're too happy. Forget it.
Logical people don't like that. Just doesn't make sense. What is this about? Because that's how I used to be too. Like, it's like a waste of time. It's not even productive. And oh my goodness, one day I came across the father who was ripping the paper. Do you remember that Laughing Baby video from years ago?
Oh, yeah. And the baby kept laughing the more he ripped the paper.
Oh my God. That thing is hilarious. And they say that he was looking for a job and he couldn't, and it was yet like another rejection letter or something like that. And I think they became rich from all the videos, from all the video views. The thing has millions of video views. And all he did was rip the paper, and the baby could barely even sit up. The baby was laughing so hard. And you know how babies just fall over when it's just so funny? They just fall over because it's so funny. They can't even sit up. You cannot be sad if you watch 10 Laughing Baby videos. Oh, but it gets better. Does anybody ever watch the twins and the triplets and the quadruplets laughing? It's like laughter in stereo. Has anybody watched the twin babies laughing or the triplet babies laughing? Anybody seen that?
Nope, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. They say that when people get cancer, if they can sit and watch, I've heard many people say that they sat and watched Lucille Ball all day. They would just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And that's the thing, the cancer was lifting out of their bodies. They did that along with whatever treatment they were in. I promise you. Oh, the twins, you've watched the twins. Robert says the twins. If you pull up the laughing babies and then go to the twins laughing. Just pull up twin babies laughing. You won't be able to, you will not be able to hold a straight face. Now, here's something that I discovered about the laughter of babies. Do you notice baby laughter is all the same? It doesn't matter if it's a Chinese baby, a black baby, it's the pure, unadulterated, spontaneous eruption of joy, and it sounds the same. Like when you close your eyes and you listen to a baby laughing, you can't tell who they are. It's so pure. It sounds like God. And they make the same sound. They make the exact, it sounds exactly the same. If you listen to a whole lot of babies, it has a similarity to it. It's an energetic of the spontaneous eruption of joy from source. It's coming from the same place. It doesn't matter what the babies look like. It is the most bizarre thing. It's a spiritual practice, I'm telling you. I used to watch those laughing babies and I would be howling. You cannot watch 2 or 3 laughing baby videos and not be cracking up. And here's the other thing about the laughing babies. The strangest things make babies laugh. It could be somebody throwing popcorn to the dog. There is one laughing baby where they're throwing popcorn to the dog and the dog catches it and the baby is howling. Like, what's funny about that? What's funny about ripping paper? What's funny about that? That's what the course is talking about today and in these last few lessons. When do you laugh like that? When are you amused? When do you have this pure, spontaneous combustion of joy? So serious. Who's next?
Coolness and loving vibrations.
Good morning.
I have put external validation on the altar, seeking love from others to sustain me. And this course has shown me that I do that because I did not find my worthiness in myself, what I was seeking. I yield.
I love the birds with you. Wow, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
External validation. Do we know about that one on the altar? External validation. There is probably no better metric for this phenomenon that B is speaking of than YouTube subscribers. It's probably the best metric for seeking external validation. And what do I mean by that? Over the years, we have come to see that people really, really want subscribers, right? On YouTube. They really want subscribers. I used to really want subscribers. Subscribers. It was like the be all end all. And then Spirit was seeking to get a message across to me of why. I don't know, like that success. That means you're progressing. It shows you, what you can't measure, you can't get better. It's like helping you get to where you need to be. It's worthy endeavor. No, you made all that up in your mind. That what could be on the altar is seeking external validation through numbers on YouTube. Okay, I'll go further. Do you know that most of the people that watch videos on most YouTube channels are not subscribed? It's something like only like maybe 48% of the people that watch videos on YouTube channels are subscribed to those YouTube channels. That means the majority, most of the people that watch videos on YouTube of particular channels that they like are not subscribed to those channels, which means that you can watch the content all day long and not be subscribed. Why subscribe? Why take an action if you don't have to take the action? And it used to be, well, if you're subscribed, then you'll be notified when the person uploads a video. Well, we know that's not true anymore. And then it used to be, okay, well, we're going to add another thing. You subscribe and then you ring the bell, and that says you want the notification. Well, we know that that doesn't work. Only some people that ring the bell will get a notification. Okay, well, you got to subscribe and ring the bell and turn on notifications on your phone. Who the fuck wants to do all that? Who wants to do all that? I don't. I don't do it. I don't even have notifications turned on my phone. I go to YouTube and I go and watch the things that I want to watch. All this subscribing, it's farce. It's a total farce. That's the conclusion I've come to. So let's really examine, family. What do we really have on the altar? Trying to get numbers, trying to get money, trying to get approval, trying to get a cure for a disease, trying to get somebody to love us, trying to get somebody to give us something, trying to get sex, trying to get a good time. All of these are on the altar. Clear the altar. Talk to me. I don't know if I'm the only person that's having this experience. Talk to us, family. What do you have on the altar?
Rev, are you talking to us?
Oh, everybody. Anyone who decides to.
Let's see who wants to come up and talk.
Anyone who wants to out themselves. Basically.
Exactly. Now's the time to do it. Let's do it. Let's clean it up. We
Clean
have
it up.
Carol on the stage. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning for me, the lessons hitting pretty hard, and I realized I had being invisible on my altar and still wanted to be heard. Where I've always seen myself basically like my mom would be in the background doing everything that was important to everyone else. And I had an experience last night where no one wanted to listen to me, so I stopped speaking. And then everyone just went about doing what they wanted to do. And I realized I've always been in the background, and now that I don't want to be heard, I don't know how to do it. So that one is on my altar for sure. Thinking that you had to be seen and not heard, even from a child, and especially being a female. So I've got to work on that one. And I'm complete.
Invisibility. Seen and not heard. Not feeling heard. That's delicious. What did you decide to do about those?
I just stopped speaking for a while. It just hasn't. Well, I was just watching the laughing babies, and I started to feel a little bit of it felt like something stuck in my chest. So I started to dissipate a bit, and I don't know where it just came from. I was doing everything for the past couple of days, feeling happy and everything else, and then it just came out of absolute nowhere, which means it was still in my subconscious. So I have to work on that one. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm not sure.
If you were to ask the Holy Spirit or the inner God or Holy Self, Holy Guardian Angel, what am I to do with this information? What do you hear?
gosh, all I'm hearing is drilling in my brain with this construction going on next door. Sometimes it's okay to be quiet, I guess. Well, I guess what's coming to me now is that, yeah, you talk too much. I guess I was not in the right element. It's it's not feminine energy. It's a bit too controlling, and maybe if I talk less the same way how everything just fell into place last night, maybe I'll get more done if I stay out of everybody else's lane. Because I don't always get everything completed. I guess I do too much talking. I got a ton of things to do today, so talk less and do more. And it contradicts it, but I guess that's what I'm thinking now. I'll meditate on it and see what else, where I am truly guided. Not complete.
You know, there is a thing of talking too much and not really having anything to say. And then at the other polarity, there is something I have to say and I don't say it. So, Carol, you started with the word invisibility. That's really powerful because if you're supposed to be visible, family, invisibility is not love. And if you're supposed to speak up, being quiet is not the way. There is a time to speak and a time to be silent. We must get them appropriate. Yes, Carol?
Yes, ma'am. I did have a lot of struggling with the balance. I figured I came into this world as a masculine. I didn't like being feminine at all. So I was always shouting and talking and screaming at people, but I knew who to scream at and who not to. And that balance of actually understanding to be feminine, it has, over this course in Miracles, I actually did manage to balance that, where I came to understand who my best teachers were and how I denied that masculine side. Well, how I had hated on the masculine side, and I just was always talking and ranting and raving like a man, going crazy, instead of being in the feminine energy. So I would try not to be seen when it came to being feminine because I didn't know how to. And that's the way how I saw my mom do stuff. She was always more not in front of everything. She stayed invisible in the kitchen and doing the things that a woman should do, being quiet. And then I felt comfortable in that balance, and I realized, okay, I'm supposed to be feminine. This is the body I'm in, and I balance the energy. But then sometimes when things get a bit rough, I snap. And I found myself snapping, even trying to be happy, I snapped. And so I was talking quite a lot lately, but not being heard because it was the wrong timing. And I thought I had mastered that because I lived in a house with two males and they both told me to shut up. So I realized I was talking too much. And it wasn't loving myself because obviously the way that they spoke to me, it showed me that I've allowed others seem to treat me the way how I am obviously treating myself at that point. And it wasn't love. And it was just a whole lot of stuff going through my head. And I got up this morning and I still didn't feel like talking.
until I was watching the babies. And there are days I always wanted to raise my hand, but I've been too afraid or too shy, or say maybe next time. I'll just sit in the background and I'll be okay. So this was a big lesson today. Get that off my altar. I need to. Definitely. And I'm complete.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there an element of hiding in that?
Oh yes. I've always been behind the scenes. Always try not to be seen. Hiding a lot of everything, even my talents. It came out with a lot of unworthiness. That was another challenge of not feeling that it was enough. I never felt that it was enough. So it's best to just stay quiet and stay behind, and I would be more productive being behind the scenes than in front of the scenes. Just hard not to come out and not be in front and not know how to do that well. So it's always a lot of hiding. Be seen and not heard. I heard it every day as a child.
Yeah, I heard that too. It didn't work though, Children are seen and not heard. It didn't work. That's why I got a couple of slaps across my face, because my mouth was fast. Y'all know my mouth. That old be seen and not heard thing, it didn't work. They tried to get me to comply. I would not comply. Is there the inner child still complying with the seen and not heard, and that when you are seen and heard, you get rapid backlash in your world because deep within yourself, you believe you're not supposed to be seen and heard?
That was definitely it. I was told to be quiet, and I was. A 5-year-old told me to stop speaking, and I stopped speaking. And I was like, no, I'm going to be happy just being quiet. I'm going to be happy just being quiet. And then I started to feel not happy. Like, where is this coming from? And instantly I heard my mom say, yes, that's what they said. Little children should be seen and not heard. And even though she didn't really condone to that as much, she let us do a lot more stuff as children in the house. When there were things going on, we still had to be tucked away. We still had to go somewhere else. And yeah, I still had that in my, I didn't even know it was there. I was going through the course, and everything was, as it does, everything seems really nice, and then everything is great, and you have a beautiful day. You feel you're on top of the world, and then the next lesson comes. And I've never been reading ahead. I'm just waiting for the lesson to come as it comes every morning. Because I've never done this course, and I don't want to mess it up. Because I know with like Reverend Val, when you break it down, you make it seem so easy, because I popped into other rooms on the day and I didn't like it. So when I see the lesson, I know whatever's going to come that day, I will have to deal with it. But I didn't know this was in there. And looking back now, I can see it's been building up for a few days. So for about a week. So I've been out with people and things bad have happened when I spoke with. Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. This has been in there for a few days, for a few weeks now. I didn't even realize. I spoke to 3 different people at my husband's workplace, and all 3 of them got injured. And it was telling me to shut up.
Wait a minute. You spoke to 3 different people. All 3 of the people got injured. And then they told you to be quiet because it seems like your mouth was what caused them to be injured?
No, I told myself maybe I shouldn't be there. My husband plays polo, and for the past 4 times that I've gone to watch him at the pony lanes, I spoke to one guy and he was chasing after my husband and he broke his ankle. I told my husband, wow, I was just speaking to him and you say he was going to have fun and now he's broken his ankle. And the next person I spoke to, the horse almost, she just fell off the horse and the horse broke his shoulder. And I told him, you know, I was speaking to her, I'm going to not go over to the pony lanes at all. Because I felt like my words were happening. I wasn't having bad thoughts about anyone. And that's the thing, I'd be really hard at guarding my thoughts. And the third person, I was over at the pony lanes that day because somebody else fell, and it was not me. I was like, good, that was nothing to do with me because my thoughts. I kept thinking it was me. And that third person, he got hit in his head with a ball. And my husband said to me that day, yeah, you said you weren't going to come over to the pony lanes again. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Because whenever I'm there and I speak to people, shit happens.
So there is, continue.
Yeah. I realized last night when I was talking again, everybody got upset. And I just stopped speaking.
They got upset knowing about these injuries.
No, they got upset because I was talking too much. And I just realized that over the past couple of weeks, I've been talking, and the more people I talk to, the more shit happens. And I stopped speaking. I had a Maya Angelou moment last night. I was thinking, if I stopped speaking, I wouldn't have to. Yeah, just put it together. It's a big thing on my altar. I always think that when whatever comes out of my mouth, once I'm there, some things people either don't accept it or things happen.
So what we're looking at is a belief play out that when I talk, bad things happen.
Yes, I didn't even connect the dots until I started talking. This is not the first time in a platform like this that I decided not to speak because of what happened.
Okay. There's also a belief, and this one would also be faulty because the first one is faulty as well. When I speak, bad things happen, because it could just as easily be when I speak, good things happen, or when I speak, different things happen. It could be anything, right? So we can start to pick these apart and know that they're not true. Another untrue belief is that we can create in the life of another. You can't create an injury in someone else's life. They're creating their own injury. Were you aware of that part?
I know we have choice. This is the thing, is that person that I spoke to that day, well, I guess it's his choice. Yes, I've always felt that if you spur someone on to do something like some nonsense and they do it, then you're the person who contributed to that in a way. That was a belief I had. Because that first person, he wasn't sure about playing that day, and I was like, you think you're gonna have a chance? And he's not very competitive. And he was like, I don't know. I said, well, good luck having fun. And when I look back at it, I was like, maybe it was not being, I don't know. And he did try so hard that he got injured. I always thought that sometimes when your words have so much power that you can gosh, I've seen people just speak things and stir up so much shit. So I always thought that it was like that. We all do have a choice. That's true.
And nothing outside of you can override the power of your own consciousness. Like if his consciousness is in safety and someone comes along, their consciousness is not in safety, their consciousness is in injury, the strongest vibration wins. Because we're all energy beings, and within ourselves, we have the potential for safety and for injury. My consciousness is determining whether I'm going to get injured or not, no one else's. So what happens? Other people come and lend their fear to my own fear. If I didn't have the fear, then it wouldn't have happened. So mom had a saying for this. Do you remember mom used to say, I don't know if anybody else's mother used to say this too. Yeah, well, you did it because your friends did it. Well, if your friends jump off the bridge, you're going to jump off the bridge too. It was the reminder of personal responsibility that you are responsible for your mind, your actions, your attitudes, and your outcomes. You and no one else. Is that a truth that you hold? That every person is responsible for their outcomes. You can't make someone be hurt, Carol.
I'm definitely listening to this thing. Yes, I understand.
And here's the deal. You may not believe it because people might say, well, Val, I seen a lot of things happen. I seen people speak a word, and next thing you know, the person fell down some steps. I saw this happen. I saw that happen. Well, let's examine that. First of all, it was my perception because I saw something and maybe I didn't know what I was looking at. I couldn't see the inside of that person's mind who fell down the steps. I did see that somebody said, I curse you. Or I knew they cursed them. And then next thing you know, this person, they whole, crops failed. We believe that. Now, it's not lawful. It's not in alignment with the laws of the universe, because why would God make you subject to someone else? Why? No one has ever been able to answer that question for me. Why would God make me subject to someone else's word? Why? It blows the lid off of hexing. I ain't fucking scared of nobody hexing me. What the fuck for? I'm the only one. I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why you never have to concern yourself with someone hexing you ever for the rest of your beautiful, blessed life. Number 1, nobody fucking cares that much about you. They don't. They care about their own lives. Do you really think someone is thinking about you? They're not thinking about you. They're only thinking about you with relationship to themselves. Everyone's thinking about one thing 99% of the time, themselves. They're in their own mind, thinking about their own life and their own children and their own family and their own this and their own money and their own health and their own love. 99% of the time, most humans are in our head without adult supervision. We ain't thinking. You really think someone is giving most of their inner energy to you? No, they're giving their inner energy to themselves with regard to you. I need that person to love me, or I want to be in love with that person. And they're over here doing some pink quartz crystal and hooking up. They got their cauldron out. They got all the love spells out because I want them to fall in love with me. Is that about that other person, or is that about themselves? It's still about yourself. They talking about me. I'm going to do this freezing jar spell. Let me get my jar. And you go and you get your little mason jars at the Dollar Tree and you write their name in it and you roll it up and you freeze it and you put some other stuff in there and you put it in the back. That's going to make them shut up and stop talking about me. Is that about them, or is that still about you? That is still about you. It's not about the other person. Nothing we do is about other people. And it teaches this in the four agreements. The four agreements tells you this very clearly. Everything you do, everything you've ever done, everything you think, everything until you ascend your consciousness is about you. And eventually it becomes about the whole universe. So that's number one thing. You don't have to concern yourself with people hexing you because number one, people are not thinking about you that much. Number two, even if someone was thinking about you and they thought, I'm going to go hex this person, the strongest vibration wins. Are you every morning rooted in your love vibration, your love meditation? Are you every day going about repelling the forces of darkness with your great, big, bright light? You're still in charge. You are in charge of you. And that's everyone, and nothing about that is going to change. Now, that's the law, and that's how it is. You know what Abraham Hicks said? No one can create in the life of another. No one. You're safe. You have nothing to concern yourself with. And Carol, you can let all the guilt go because nothing you ever said a day in your life caused anybody to do anything. They did it because that's what was in their consciousness, no matter what it looked like. Is this helpful, Carol? What are you hearing?
Everything just lifted off my chest just now. Thank you so much. That's why I was trying to be seen and not heard. I kept thinking that there was so much power I had in me that I could do so much stuff because I seen connecting dots. And that's not true. That's not true. I cannot do anything to anyone else. Nobody else's. Everything you just said, that makes so much more sense. Thank you.
What kind of world would it be if you could just walk around and you say to somebody, you're walking down the street, you fall, and then you walk by and you go to another person, you become president, and then you walk by and you say to another person, you turn into a chicken, and it all happened. What kind of lawless world would that be? If the world actually worked that way, what kind of law world would that be?
It would definitely be crazy. People just thought that words had power. Words have so much power. And the vibration you're in would connect with the people who are in that vibration. And if you said something bad to a person and they felt bad, well, it's because you said it. But everyone, we have the right to choose. You have to. The choice is yours. No matter what someone says to me or what I say to someone else, the strongest energy wins. A lot of people don't know that. I lived my whole life and I didn't. Even though I've been reading about it and I've been thinking about it, I've been studying it, and my light has to be shining, I've had so many experiences in my life where what I spoke came to pass. Or what I said to someone and that it happened. It just felt right. It just felt normal. I thought it was normal. It's crazy. It's truly crazy.
And remember, this happens a lot, that you say something and it appears to come true. We do not know a couple of things here. One, we don't know where what we said came from. It could have come from the other person's consciousness. A lot of times we're voicing things that didn't even originate in our own consciousness. Number two, we don't know what's going on inside that person's consciousness. Only God does. Only the universe knows what is really going on with each and every individual. We don't know if they're thinking, oh Lord, I hope I don't get injured today. Oh Lord, I hope I don't fall off this horse. If that's their thought, they would have to fall off the horse. And maybe you tapped into divine mind that was trying to correct the situation and say, well, be careful. And all of a sudden they fall, oh my God, I fell and got an injury. You just right after you said, be careful. Huh. And that's on you? No. Consciousness creates and nothing else. Everyone is creating their own conscious experience. Everyone's creating their own experience. And that can never be taken from you because you are a creator. Ye are gods. So best to own it and determine, what am I going to do with my consciousness? Yes? We cannot create in the life of another family. Mm-hmm.
I think this is why it's important to understand universal law.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away the blame game, victimization. I am not a victim. I am not a victim of anyone's consciousness, all is mine. Everything that's in my world, I created it. I put it there. I'm responsible for that. And it grows you up, understanding law. I can't blame anybody for anything. And everything that's in my life is by invitation, good, bad, or indifferent. And I get to observe it. So, I'm practicing observing myself, my little self, doing things on this planet. I'm like, wow, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did I think that? I get to examine that in the framework of law. And so I'm no longer a victim of myself, I should say. I victimize myself. And I'm learning that a lot of things that were in my mind, my thoughts, were not true. And things that I thought were coming from other people was just me projecting so I can see what it is that was in my consciousness, or what is in my consciousness, so that I can correct it. And so now I understand law, and I use it in every aspect to understand everything that's around me. And it is so liberating, because I know in an instant I can change my thoughts, I can change the direction of everything that's going on, and I'm not a victim. So understanding of universal law is foundational for me. Complete.
And family, if you're not in the mystery school with us in Ascension, where we go deep into this, hop in Ascension. It's at ValerieLove.com. It's the only membership I know of that does what it does. The only one. By the way, if you're in Ascension, I sent you a video yesterday. Watch it immediately. Okay, Ascension, a lot is going on. You need to be on it. And this is time sensitive. Okay? Galactic Signature.
I'm on it.
You're on it? You saw it?
I'm on it. Yes, actually, I was up till late with my accountability partner, going through the stuff in Ascension that we were deep diving. We were like, oh my gosh. And so, yes, Ascension is hot. It is popping. I freaking love it. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm down this rabbit hole Kaisi sent me. This is crazy. So if you're not in Ascension, get in and like she said, put your big girl or big boy boxers panties on, because it's time to learn and become sovereign. This is the name of the game. No one is going to spoon feed you. You're going to have to learn to feed yourself and grow right on up. So I love it. Okay, so we're going to remember today, what are we going to remember? That I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy, peace are all that I want. So our galactic signature today, we're in Kin 226, the white family. Yes, the truth family. We're in white overtone world richer. I empower in order to equalize, commanding opportunity. I seal the store of death with the overtone of radiance. I am guided of timelessness. I empower in order to equalize, commanding opportunity. I seal the store of death with the overtone of radiance. I am guided by the power of timelessness. I empower in order to equalize, commanding opportunity. I seal the store of death with the overtone of radiance. I am guided by the power of timelessness. Right, overtone, world bridger.
Yummy. Send some love, everybody. We love you. We love you. You are loved. You are appreciated. Send some love, everybody. Send some love.
Love you. Love you. Yay. Love tubers. Yay.
Oh my God. Yay. Oh, it would be good if I ended the live stream, wouldn't it? Bye, y'all. Love you.